I I wrote a theory. It's like a yeah. Hang on. Can I check the word count? Okay. It's 1,200 words. I had to get my thoughts out, otherwise I wouldn't be able to explain myself properly. So hello, welcome to my TED Talk. I'm Gwythe, and I believe that Dess is the Roaring Knight. I know, controversial. I'm really worried about this. Not worried about it, but because obviously you guys are way more into like Deltarune stuff than I am, right? So I'm really worried I'm about to hit you guys with the most surface level fucking take. Exactly. I'm about to hit you with a take like maybe Sans from Undertale and Deltarune are the same guy. like I'm gonna hit you with what people like realized in chapter 1, like it's a fucking profound fucking thing. When it's like, yeah, everyone knew that idiot. But anyway, let me start reading. So, a dark world is based on perception, aka the shapes in the dark and the objects within and how they are perceived. That's generally how Ralsei kind of fucking described it. You know, like, when you take away the light, the darker, you kind of fucking see shit. These objects can include dead people, like Gerson's ashes, making darkness out of dead lightness. Gerson was an idealization of the man. He was a renowned author, a teacher, a historian, and his son is the local priest. He has both a public grave and an urn, plenty of opportunity for people to think about him, those who knew him personally, people who he taught, people who read his books, etc. All of these people who likely passed through the church at one point or another, filling the shapes in the dark with their perceptions of Gerson Boom. As Dess is dead, she too is a Darkner, but she doesn't have all these accolades. She is just the daughter of the mayor. People knew her, but not even nearly to the extent that people knew Gerson Boom, in either scope or intensity. I believe that Dess Holliday's dead body is being kept inside of the bunker, the dark world functioning as a way to keep her alive. But she hasn't come out right, not in the way that Gerson Boom did. Dess Holliday, as a Darkener, is just an approximation, essentially created by the perceptions of two people, Carol and Rudy. There aren't enough points of view to accurately create Dess. On top of that, as much as a parent loves their child, knowing their daughter is dead and seeing her dead body will have an effect on the perception of them. She is an incomplete picture of December Holiday. She is the Roaring Knight, and she is unable to safely leave the Dark World. There is a massive Dark World in the bunker that goes underneath the entire town. Either the bunker is that big, or there are sewers down there connected to it. That's how the Roaring Knight gets around. She can't come to the Light World. She can't exist there without turning back into Dess's body. It has to enter from below when a new Dark World is opened. But I don't think she is actually 100% dead. Not in the way that Gerson was. She's closer to the human flowers. Not quite a Lightner, not quite a Darkner, not quite alive, and not quite dead. But why? Because her body has something in it that Gerson's doesn't. Her semi-dead body is filled with determination. In Undertale, dead monsters were put into experiments to bring them back to life. It half worked. They were okay for a little while before starting to break down. The Roaring Knight is the Deltarune equivalent of an amalgamate. She is a failed attempt at bringing her back to life, and now her parents are trying to fix it. If she leaves the Dark World, she'll degrade as an amalgamate, but inside the Dark World, she's being kept mostly stable as a Darkner. It's functionally her life support. That's why the save points in Chapter 5 say filled with a certain power. We're supposed to be thinking about determination, but it's not yet time for them to be plot relevant. That's also why Rudy is sick. He's infusing his determination into Dess's dead body to slow her degradation, but it's not enough. It's slowly killing Rudy, and he can't keep up with the demand. This is why Undyne was taken after they failed to capture Toriel. There is no monster with more determination than Undyne. She is functionally a determination battery to keep Dess's amalgamate body together, because they can't risk Rudy dying. He and his perception of Dess, his daughter, are necessary. Deltarune is an inverse of Undertale. In Undertale, there is a barrier that the power of 7 humans is required to destroy. Well, that or 6 humans and the soul of every monster. I think Deltarune is the opposite. I don't think we require the souls of monsters to create Dess, but I believe we require the perceptions of 7 individuals to create her. These 6 monsters and 1 human will shape Dess with their perceptions of her. Noelle, who remembers her as a big sister. Carol, who remembers her as a daughter. Rudy, who remembers her as a daughter. Asgore, who remembers her as his kind of niece. Toriel, who remembers her as her kind of niece. Asriel, who remembers her as his girlfriend. And Chris, who remembers her as his friend. And now, this is a little bit of a side tangent, but if Dess was particularly rebellious, she may even have had run-ins with Officer Undyne, who may have perceptions of her as a troublemaker. However, we don't really know too much about Undyne yet, so I'm still pretty locked in on maybe the determination battery thing. All these different perceptions to fill out the shapes in the dark that make up the Dess Holiday Darkener. And the plan has to happen now. It's the best chance the holidays have. Asriel is coming home from college. Everybody they need to reshape their daughter will be gathered in one place. This is why the Roaring Knight attempted to take Toriel. This is why they took Asgore. Carol will go willingly. Rudy will go willingly. Chris will go willingly without the soul, or go charging in with the soul alongside his team. And Noelle will go if her mother told her to. Well, she would have done, but Noelle is changing. Noelle's relationship with Susie is bringing her out of her shell, raising her confidence. In Chapter 5, she even ignored a phone call from her mother to be with Susie. She may even be altering Noelle's perception of Dess. Carol comes home to find another jacket-wearing tomboy holding a guitar in front of her daughter in her own home. It could potentially be corrupting the idealization of Dess. The idealized Dess. Susie is a threat to the entire plan, and Carol knows it. That's why she wants her to stay away from Noelle. I believe Dess is almost a parallel to Flowey, aka Asriel Dreamer from Undertale, something trying to regain its form, who fittingly is her boyfriend in Deltarune. But I don't think she's an antagonist, I think she's a victim. But this isn't something she is doing. This is something that's being done to her. And this whole plan, I think it may work. We see Flowey do something very similar during the true pacifist ending of Undertale. He used the power of the 6 human souls in every monster to turn back into a boy. It may be possible. But once Dess has been created, once she's perfect, what then? She can't leave the Dark World. She is just a Darkener. But there is one more important thing about the barrier in Undertale. For its destruction, 7 souls are needed. But it only takes a single human soul, combined with a monster's soul, and it's enough to cross it. One that Chris seems all too eager to get rid of. That's ultimately all the Holiday family wants. For one single Darkener to cross from the Dark World to the Light World. With the red human soul, they'll have everything they need for Dess to cross that barrier. For the idealized Darkener to walk in the Light World, and for the Holiday family to finally find their lost girl. And that is the end of my essay. That I wrote in like a fucking hour at like fucking 8 PM.